The NBA season has officially kicked off, and we're going to be talking about who the contenders are, the pretenders, and which teams can we find in Cancun come April. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, hit my theme music.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. This is my show. This is my camera. I run it. Oh!
What's good, everybody? Welcome to Outside the Playbook. Like I said, we're going to be putting teams into tiers as far as contenders, playoff teams, play-in teams, and teams who are going to be on their way to Cancun come April. We're going to start off in the Eastern Conference. When I talk about teams that are going to be going to Cancun, okay, there's one team on this list that, based on who they have on their roster, should not be going to Cancun. But we're going to start off with the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets will be in Cancun. The next team, the Toronto Raptors, even though they have two very, very talented young players in Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, you add RJ Barrett in there, Emmanuel Quickly, they have a very, very bright future if they have the right coach in place. I'm not exactly sure that they do. The Wizards have no idea what they're doing. They have zero clue as to what direction their organization is heading in. But the Charlotte Hornets should not be on this list. You have Ball, you have Bridges, you have Miller, you have pieces to build around. Good young pieces. You get solid vets that can come in and contribute at the center position, come and contribute at the two-guard spot, some guys that come off the bench and play their role. But I don't think that Ball is going to be healthy the entirety of the season. He hasn't proved that he can do that. And then you add in Colin Sexton is now a part of that team. They have a lot of good, talented young pieces. They shouldn't be in this position, but I don't see a bright future for them beyond Cancun. Now, the next thing we're going to discuss is the play-in teams. Call me biased. I'm okay with that. Call me a biased fan, but I feel like the Miami Heat are going to have some say-so in this season. I'm not saying they're a surefire playoff team. I'm not saying they're going to shock the world and make the conference finals. I'm not being that crazy. But I am saying they have an opportunity if they come together, they mesh, they gel, because they had a rough season last year. Being able to bounce back from that, have a full season of training camp with a clear mind, clear focus, I think they have an opportunity. The Atlanta Hawks, all right, another team from that division, Trae Young, Porzingis, I think they have enough in place to be able to get to a play-in spot. It's only 7 through 10. That is not difficult to do when you have an all-star and then you have another big that can stretch the floor, space the floor, a champion now, no matter how little he contributed to said championship. Porzingis is a champ, all right? If they can remain healthy, they can have a decent season again, take up a play-in spot 7 through 10. Philadelphia 76ers. We don't know the health situation, but we do know that when Embiid is healthy, when Paul George is healthy, when Maxey is healthy, they can be big contributors, and Embiid is an MVP caliber player when he is right. Now you also added VJ, you have Quentin Grimes, you have Oubre, you have a lot of solid pieces to build around your nucleus if they play their cards right, if they're able to, you know, make sure they manage Embiid's health throughout the course of the season, and PG because he's starting off the year hurt. If they can do that, then I feel like they can, you know, possibly at least at the very minimum get a play-in spot. The next team is the Indiana Pacers. Now, I picked Nembhard to be my most improved player coming into this season. I'm not backing off of that because I feel like with Halliburton out, he has enough skill, enough talent. Basketball IQ is pretty high to at least get you 15 and 6 every single night. He can hoop. We saw it in the NBA Finals. You still have Siakam. You have Mathurin, who's now playing for a contract because he didn't sign the extension. I think this team is going to be looking at a play-in spot come this season. And they have enough pieces to make it happen. I might be lowballing them. They could end up in that 6th seed at least for the playoffs. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they should be in the thick of things in the playoff hunt coming this season. The next thing we have to discuss is the playoff spots for the Eastern Conference. This is seeds 3 through 6. I'm a very firm believer that Detroit every single year is one piece away from going to the next level. made the playoffs last year, right? Now they need to be looking at, all right, we need to get to the second round. They were able to pick up Duncan Robinson to help space the floor. You get Ivy back from injury. You don't know the situation with Malik Beasley, the legal troubles he's been dealing with. You don't really know that. So if they can get him back, the loss of Tim Hardaway, it won't be that big of a deal. But if they can make sure that they find a way to have late game go-tos, pick and roll, space the floor, Duren, Cunningham, go to work. If they can figure that out, they're going to be looking at a second round berth. Next team, the Milwaukee Bucks. And very simply put, if you have Giannis, you have a chance. If you have arguably the best player in the world, a top 25 player of all time, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, 32, 12, 5 or 6, somewhere around there, you're going to have an opportunity to make the playoffs. And because it's the Eastern Conference, you could be thinking about a conference finals berth. Another team, the Orlando Magic, they were not healthy at all last season. Not healthy. I think Banchero, he played under 50 games. Wagner, he struggled a little bit with health. You add in Desmond Bane with that trade from Memphis with Caldwell Pope being involved. I think they have enough to make the playoffs if they stay healthy. You know, Banchero, he can average 27, 8, and 5. He's going to be putting up all-star numbers. If he can make that jump to be a superstar caliber player, he's got to get out of the first round this year. The best way to do that, get home court advantage. They have an opportunity to do that. Like I said, weekend East, it's open for anybody. The last team that I say have an opportunity to make the playoffs is the team in green. Okay, Jason Tatum's talking about coming back later on in the season. I disagree. Think he should just wait it out. Joe Mazzulla is a heck of a coach. Hate to admit it, but you can't deny it. Heck of a coach. He knows how to push the pulse of his players. You know, he always knows the tempo of his team. You know, he always knows the pulse of his team, and he always knows how to push them. And then you add in Simons. You can push buttons with him to see, all right, were you just a guy getting 20 points on a bad team on volume shots, or can you actually be an elite guard? See what you learned from Damian Lillard all those years y'all played together. He's never been a number 2 option, which he now is, because it was Dame, CJ, and then Dame and Nurkic. And so, you know, now you get to see, is he ready to be a number 2 option on a good team and make the playoffs? I think he's going to be a big piece and a big part of what they do. Now you move Peyton Pritchard into the starting lineup. So you have new dynamics with JT being out. But I think they can fulfill all they need to fulfill in order to be at least a 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, even sustaining losses like Al Horford and Drew Holiday. I feel like they did Drew a little dirty, but, you know, that's the business of the NBA. Now we're talking about the contenders. 2 teams, top of the Eastern Conference, that I feel can make it out of the East and challenge for a championship. Number 1, we got to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now you add, you know, back into the fold, Donovan Mitchell, Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Max Strus. You have that nucleus still intact. That starting 5 is still intact from last year. Then you go out and get Lonzo Ball. Lonzo is my pick for 6th man of the year. I like the way he fits with the team, moving the basketball, hitting the open man, seeing things on the court that may not be seen by everybody, being able to get the ball up the court. That's one of the things he's very, very underrated at, pushing the tempo, pushing the pace. We're going to get the rebound. We're going to go run and gun, and they have the athletes to do it. They have players with good hands, bigs. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley can finish around the cup. They have enough. They have enough already to challenge for the Eastern crown. But with Lonzo Ball, I think that dynamic can kind of settle them at times when they're going through spurts where they're not scoring the basketball well, not shooting. He's going to be the player that's going to get them a great shot every single time, whether it's hitting a cutter, running a set to get somebody an open look, especially when Donovan Mitchell is, you know, on the basketball court without Darius Garland. You don't want Mitchell to have to do all of the scoring and all of the creating on his own. That takes a little bit of pressure off of him. The other team is this team right here. And I say the Knicks name when I'm on stream. All right. I don't talk about the team in green, but I can say their name, the lesser of 2 evils. Mike Brown is now the coach, changing up the style. You have Brunson, Bridges, OG, Cat, Mitchell, all those guys returned. Then you have Josh Hart, and you also have to factor this in. You went out and got Jordan Clarkson. You have, you have a situation where Brogdon left you high and dry and retired. That's his prerogative. That's his choice. I'm okay with that, but you have to understand you may need another piece. Jordan Clarkson can handle, shoot it, score it, all 3 levels, right? He's going to be somebody that's going to be a microwave. Come off the bench, get buckets. That's your responsibility night in, night out. I'm concerned Cat says at this stage of his career, being in the league 10 plus years, I don't know how I fit into this offense. Well, you can shoot the pull-up 3 in transition. You can get into the post in transition. You can space the floor. You can pick and pop. You can pick and roll. You can shoot from 3. You can hit mid-range, and you can post up. Find something to do in this offense. Give me 25 and 12. That's what Mike Brown is basically asking him to do. Now, the next thing we are going to discuss is going to be the Western Conference. The teams in the Western Conference who are contenders, pretenders, playoffs, and 1, 2, 3 Cancun. All right, now, adding in the Western Conference, the first thing we have to do, we have to send the teams on their way to Cancun. Now, right away, I'm going to put the Portland Trailblazers in here, okay, because we don't really know what we're going to get from them. We have no idea what Portland is going to give us throughout the course of the season. This is specifically Chauncey, keep working on maturing your players. Dame, offer any guidance, any insight that you can. Being injured, not playing this season, that's where we're at, all right? Mentor the young guys. And we're going to add in the Utah Jazz right there because, I mean, that is the cesspool of the NBA. Like, I don't know any other way to put it. Vets, they go there, they're looking for a buyout. Why Kevin Love is still there, his agent hasn't gotten him out of there, I have no idea, and I feel bad for the man. But they have a lot of young players, a lot of young talent that they're trying to build up, mature, put the basketball in Ace Bailey's hand as much possible. So they're going to have opportunities to, develop players if that's the route they want to take. Danny Ainge is at the helm of that organization. D Wade is the owner. So they're looking at opportunities to put themselves to get back into the playoffs, get into the championship picture, but they're probably looking at 3, 4, 5 years down the line. Nothing immediate. I don't want to do it, but I got to. You have no idea what direction they're heading in. You give up Bane and you get Caldwell Pope. He's a contributor, but he's not going to make a bigger difference as Bane is going to make in Orlando. And then you also look at the fact that we haven't really seen any steps forward from this team. Not since Bane, Brooks, Morant, Jackson, since they were all together. Haven't really seen any maturity, any growth in that aspect. So where are they headed? Same thing for this team, okay? Phoenix Suns. Failed experiment with KD, Book, and Beal. Admit it. All right, cool. Let's reset. And you regress. You lose Kevin Durant, and the only thing you get back is Green and Brooks. Don't really like that deal. You lose Beal for basically nothing. So, what are you doing to maximize the potential of Devin Booker? I seen an earnings chart, career earnings. Devin Booker's earned $500,000, okay, in his career. And the reason why I bring that up is because Devin Booker has played up to par of that contract and done his job. He's done his job every step of the way, and he's earned his contract. Put players around him so that, hey, going forward, we understand it didn't work out with KD and Beal. We're going to get you more help. Jalen Green, can he be that? Is he talented? Who knows? Because his inefficiency in Houston is one of the reasons they were so ready to let go of him in favor of Kevin Durant. You're trading night in, night out inefficiency for a consistent 25, 6, and 6. So that's the difference right there. The other team is the Pelicans. You let Ingram go. You send CJ McCollum away. You're losing all of the pieces that you were originally set to have in place to be around Zion Williamson. You still have Murphy. You still have, a lot of talent. You still have Poole. But I don't think this team is playoff ready because we don't know if Zion Williamson is NBA season ready. If he can prove that, you can sneak into that playing spot. You can get you a 10th, 9th seed and threaten somebody at the top of the chart. But for right now, based on what we've seen in recent history, they're right where they belong. The next thing we got to talk about is the play-in teams. And first things first, we're going to talk about the Sacramento Kings, because Sacramento, you have Russ, you have Schroeder, you have Levine, you have DeRozan, Sabonis. His health is in question to start the season. I think you have enough to get a play-in spot. Veteran players know how to win games. Russell Westbrook has been one of the most clutch players since he came into the league. Fact check me. Go back and do your research. That is absolutely true. One of the most clutch players in the league since he got drafted. You have DeRozan, Mr. Clutch player. He's been there, done that before a number of times. Then you add in Levine. Can he be healthy? Can he be, that all-star caliber player that Chicago wanted him to be before they realized he was never going to be on the basketball court? Sabonis, 20, 14, 5, right? When he's healthy, you can pencil in for that. That team has a lot of things that they can work with, and I like the way Doug Christie turned up the volume on the defense once Mike Brown was let go. So I think they have an opportunity to sneak into that play-in spot. Now, let's talk about the Clippers. This team is old. They're very old, and health can play a factor. Brook Lopez, Chris Paul, old. James Harden, old. Kawhi, getting older every injury that he gets. So they're going to be a good team because Ty Lue is a good coach. Playing situation, I'm thinking 7th or 8th seed. I'm not thinking 10th or 9th. I'm thinking 7th or 8th, possibly in a tie for 6th, right? But I got them in the play-in spot, and then I also have them next to this team right here. Now, the reason that they're there, also for the 7th seed, Vic, he's my pick for MVP. The reason why they're in a play-in spot is because of the teams that I have above them. I can't automatically supplant those other teams because I have Vic as my MVP. Those other teams, they have more experience. They have veteran leadership and veteran players. They have superstars who are ready to play now and contribute for a championship. Vic doesn't really have that around him. He does have De'Aaron Fox. He has Vassell. He has Castle. He has Johnson still. Those players are good young players, and they'll develop year in and year out, and they'll get better. But I don't think they'll be ready to compete for a championship and actually nail down a playoff spot. The next team in this list, Dallas Mavericks. They are the dark horse, pun intended, specifically because when you look at Dallas, they have everything: scoring, shooting, handling, defense, shot blocking, rim protecting, screening, lob threats. They have everything. Everything that you need. Russell and Kyrie at the point guard spot, Christie backing them up. You have Hardy, you have Marshall, you have AD, you have Lively, Gafford. Powell, you can throw him in there. You have Cooper Flag, you have Klay Thompson. You have weapons of mass destruction when everybody is healthy at the disposal of Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd's an elite head coach. So I think they can make some noise this season if everybody is healthy. But I'm not going to put them over these teams, the playoff teams that are going to be solidified playoff spots. Number 1, we're going to go with the Houston Rockets. We saw them in action last night versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. You need a point guard. You have got to get one. Amin Thompson, he can handle KD. He can handle Sengun. Phenomenal performance. He's going to have a Nikola Jokic type impact on the offense and defense of this team. Stat sheet stuffer. That's what they're going to get out of him. But you need a point guard. Settle things down. Make sure that Kevin Durant touches the basketball in late game critical moments. Make sure that Kevin Durant receives the basketball in his hands to be Kevin Durant in late game situations. That's going to be important for them. Next team, the LA Lakers. LeBron, he's not healthy to start the season, but you still got Luka. 41, 12, and 9 last night. You got to teach DeAndre Ayton how to play off of a guy like Luka, something he's never had in his career. Another thing for that team, Austin Reeves, he's going to have a big impact until LeBron gets back, and I see this team being around 5th or 6th seed in the playoff picture. Minnesota Timberwolves, you have Anthony Edwards. Ant-Man, he's going to be one of those young guys that's going to compete for MVP awards. 27, 5-5. He's adding a post-up game. Too many three-point shots, in my opinion, last year. Even though he shot 40%, I think he needs to add getting to the free throw line, to his bag, because when the shot's not falling and you can't get to the cup, you got to become an artist and draw some fouls with some up fakes and craftiness, something he's going to add to his game this season. The next team, also very old, Golden State, right? But they still have potential to win the championship. You still have Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler can be a great second fiddle. Draymond Green is still Draymond Green. I mean, there's a number of opportunities for these young players on this team as well. Kuminga in the starting lineup, Moody, Pajemski, they can all contribute. Post, you know, they have a number of contributors. Then you add the veteran leadership of Al Horford off of the bench. This team is covered at all bases. You have, you know, stars, superstars. You have, you know, Hall of Fame players. You have young shooters. You have young ball handlers. You have young athletic wings. You have it all, okay? But they're a little older, so they're going to have to tread water very lightly this season to make sure everybody gets to the promised land. Western Conference contenders. The Denver Nuggets had the best offseason out of everybody, in my opinion. The best offseason. You trade MPJ, you bring in Cam Johnson. Can still shoot the basketball. He's a better decision maker, and he's also a decent defender and rebounder. You bring in Bruce Brown back. He's going to contribute off of the bench, provide energy, effort, electricity, that fire, that passion, that style of play. He's going to bring all of that back. You get Tim Hardaway Jr., another shooter that can also space the floor even more. Give Jamal Murray opportunities to get downhill in that dribble handoff that they were doing so great during the championship year. And you still have Aaron Gordon. And you also add in Jonas Valanciunas. So you have a lot of guys, you know, that can contribute to winning. You have backup players that can come off the bench and contribute. You have shooting, and you still have defense, and you have arguably the best player in the world who's coming off a 30-point triple-double basically for the season. The defending champs have an opportunity to run it back. Last night we saw SGA struggle for 3 quarters, turn it on in the fourth, turn it on for overtime number 1 and overtime number 2. In my opinion, this team is going to have a great season. And then you get J-Dub back. I mean, they're incomplete right now, and they still won a game versus an elite team in the Houston Rockets who have an elite coach, and you still are able to do that on ring night with the emotions of the situation. They're going to be just fine. Chet came out on fire. I need him to do a little bit of that, you know, every single night. SGA is going to be himself. Let's see if somebody else can step into a role where they come off the bench and be a microwave. AJ Mitchell showed he has potential to do that. Can he do it more consistently? But I have all the faith in the world in OKC to get to the conference finals once again this season. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments who your contenders are, who the pretenders are, and who do we expect to see in Cancun come next summer. That's one more for the good guys.